But first tonight, that big story that I want to focus on. 25 CRPF Jawans have been martyred, 6 injured in a Naxal ambush in Chhattisgarh, Sukma. Naxals have triggered an IED blast. They targeted a CRPF patrol party earlier in the day. The martyred CRPF Jawans belong to the 74th Battalion of the CRPF. The killer ambush took place at Burakpapal near Dornapal station. Naxals looted all the arms and ammunition of the Jawans. Some reports even suggesting as many as 300 Naxals were involved in the attack. There was a 99-member team of the CRPF that was patrolling the area when it was ambushed by the Naxals. The Prime Minister and the Home Minister have offered their condolences to the brave soldiers in Chhattisgarh.
तुरंत मैंने होम सेक्रेटरी से बात किया है जी, और जो भी घटना हुई है बहुत ही दुखद है जी, बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है जी। और मैंने अपने गृह राज्य मंत्री हंसराज अहीर को यह कहा है तुरंत वहां पर पहुंचने के लिए। डॉक्टर रमन सिंह जी से भी मैं वहां के मुख्यमंत्री जी से भी बात करने की मैं कोशिश कर रहा था। सब जानकारी सब प्राप्त हुई है, जानकारी जो बहुत ही दुखद है, लेकिन मैं समझता हूँ इसे हम लोगों ने एक चुनौती के रूप में स्वीकार किया।
ये छत्तीसगढ़ के सबसे महत्वपूर्ण जो हमारा जिला है सुकमा और तोरनापाल कैंप से लगा हुआ चिंता गुफा और से यदि हम सोचे बुरकापाल का, इसमें काफ़ी नक्सलियों का दबाव भी है और पुलिस का या सीआरपीएफ का भी उस पुल के निर्माण में काफ़ी दिन से लगे हैं। ये घटना काफ़ी गंभीर घटना है। उन सभी के परिजनों को न केवल मैं बल्कि पूरे छत्तीसगढ़ देशवासियों की ओर से हम अपनी श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करते हैं। उनको अपनी चिंता से और उनके दुख में हमारी भागीदारी उनको बताते हैं।
I want to go first straight across to our correspondent Kamaljeet Sandhu, who covers the Home Ministry, because we are told, Kamaljeet, that half a dozen Jawans are still missing, or at least they were till half an hour ago. What details do we have? 25 CRPF Jawans killed in the bloodbath. Are there still some who are missing?
Well, Rajdeep, there is some good news coming in. Those people have now been identified. The number, though, however, is 26 as far as number of dead are concerned. But remember, this is a war as far as Naxals are concerned. And what we've been told by our CRPF sources is the road to death, the road of Jakarkunda is the area which has been cut off by Naxals from all 3 access points. And that is where the trouble really came in. These access points are Vijaypur, these are Chinta Gufa, as well as Aranpur. And when they were trying to actually get road constructed so that there could be some sort of access, and remember this was an area where Salva Judam was being revived, and in that particular sense Naxals were offended, and that is why this entire encounter has happened. And 20 kilometers from there is... I want to stop
you at the moment because I'm being joined by the Minister. Hansraj Ahir is joining me. He is the Minister who's in charge of Naxal affairs in the Home Ministry. Hansraj Ahir, are the CRPF Jawans a sitting duck in Naxal dominated areas? जिस तरह से ये हमला हुआ है, इससे लगता है कि CRPF Jawans अब भी sitting ducks है। इंटेलिजेंस नहीं थी कि 300 लोग नक्सल वहां होंगे? ये इंटेलिजेंस फेलियर है, नहीं है तो क्या है सर?
अब ये फेलियर क्या है, ये सारी बातें एक चिंतन का विषय बन गया है। लेकिन इतना कहूंगा कि हम बहुत ही दुखी हैं और ये बहुत बड़ी दुखद घटना है, हम लोगों के लिए चैलेंज भी बन गया है और ये दोबारा ना हो इसकी हमें प्रिकॉशन लेनी पड़ेगी, पूरा ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा।
अहीर जी, लेकिन हर इस तरह के हमले के बाद यही मंत्री जी कहते हैं, जब यूपीए की सरकार थी तो इसी तरह की बातचीत होती थी, अब आप वही कहते हैं हर बार इस तरह से होता है, ये पहली बार नहीं हुआ है। बट गवर्नमेंट ओनली सेज ये बड़ी दुखद घटना है, हमें इस पर की निरीक्षण करना पड़ेगा। सवाल ये है, व्हाई इज दिस हैपनिंग अगेन एंड अगेन? ये बार बार क्यों हो रहा है?
मैं इतना कहूंगा आपसे कि जो नक्सलवादी हैं ये लोग हर समय पर इस घटना को अंजाम देना चाहते हैं।
सर, लेकिन 300 नक्सल एक जगह में आते हैं, इसका मतलब है कहीं ना कहीं तो इंटेलिजेंस फेलियर था, बिकॉज जो हमें डिटेल्स आ रही हैं, द जवान्स वर सिटिंग डक्स। जिस तरह से ये पूरा ऑपरेशन किया गया, देयर आर्म्स एंड एम्यूनिशन वर टेकन अवे फ्रॉम देम फ्रॉम द पुलिस स्टेशन।
मैं आपकी बात से इतना कहूंगा कि हमें और ज्यादा भी सावधानी बरतनी पड़ेगी और हम इसमें अभी पीछे नहीं हटने वाले हैं। दोबारा ये हादसा ना हो, इसका पूरा ख्याल रखा जाना चाहिए, हमारे तरफ से रखा जाएगा। हम ये बात स्वीकार करते हैं कि ये बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज हमें देश के लिए मिला है, पूरा देश दुखी है। हम भी बहुत ही ज्यादा गंभीर इस मामले में लेके, हमारे होम मिनिस्टर साहब ने इस पर प्रतिक्रिया दी है, आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी भी इससे बोल चुके हैं। मैं इतना कहूंगा आपके साथ में कि ये आखिरी घटना रहेगी, इतना हमने इसको गंभीरता से लिया है।
You are saying that there will be no more incident because the Prime Minister has tweeted. He has tweeted his sympathy. Tweet से तो कुछ होने नहीं वाला है. You will need to change the approach, the strategy. And I have been hearing this for years. चिदम्बरम जी जब होम मिनिस्टर थे और इस तरह की घटनाएं होती थी, the BJP would attack Mr. Chidambaram. Now the shoe is on your foot. There's a BJP government in छत्तीसगढ़, BJP government in दिल्ली. मैं पूछ रहा हूं क्या आप गारंटी दे सकते हैं कि इस तरह की घटना जिसमें क्लियर इंटेलिजेंस फेलियर है दोबारा होगी?
मैं राजीव जी मैं कहूंगा
जी,
गारंटी की बात तो शायद आप भी मेरे जगह तो नहीं देते थे, लेकिन ये चैलेंज स्वीकारा है हमने। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का ट्वीट रहे या HM साहब का ट्वीट रहे, ये ट्वीट को मोजन है आज की तारीख में देश में, इसका हमने सम्मान करना चाहिए, विश्वास रखना चाहिए, इतना मैं जानता हूँ। और उरी के हमले के बाद ही प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ट्वीट किया था, वो साबित कर दिया है और हम इसको बहुत गंभीरता से ले रहे हैं।
नहीं, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने यह भी कहा था या उनके जो एडवाइजर थे कि डीमोनेटाइजेशन के बाद हमने नक्सलियों को खत्म किया है, आतंकवादियों को खत्म किया, उसके बाद डीमोनेटाइजेशन के बाद इस तरह का बड़ा हमला होता है।
राजीव जी पूरा देश सुनता है हमारी बातें प्रधानमंत्री जी की जी, हमने इसे कंट्रोल पाया है, यही कहते हैं हम लोग और ये आगे भी कहते रहेंगे कि डीमोनेटाइजेशन का अर्थ यह है कि हमने इनकी कुछ तो ताकत तोड़ी थी, लेकिन हर पल पर ये नक्सलियों का ये दांव लगा रहता है कि कब ऐसी घटनाओं को अंजाम दे। हमारे जवान इसमें तत्पर हैं।
सर, बट लुक एट द फैसिलिटीज सर, जो फैसिलिटीज आप देते हैं, जो वेपनरी उनके पास है, जिस तरह से रहते हैं, डू यू बिलीव कि हमारे जवान को हम एक तरह से वो रिस्पेक्ट नहीं देते, नॉर डू वी गिव देम द फैसिलिटीज दैट वी शुड? ये वॉर है, ये जंग है।
हम बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी से में हम बात कर रहे हैं आपके साथ में। हम जवानों को किसी चीज की कमी नहीं पढ़ने देते हैं, ना पढ़ने देंगे
जी,
ये आपको मैं स्पष्ट कर देता हूं। और ये चैलेंज निश्चित है, मैं आपको कह दिया हूं।
सीआरपीएफ का डीजी भी नहीं है। द सीआरपीएफ डज नॉट इवन हैव अ फुल टाइम डीजी एट द मोमेंट। लास्ट डीजी वाज 2 months ago।
हम इसमें और सुधार कर सकते हैं। हम किसी अधिकारियों का, किसी जवानों का, वीर जवानों का जो मनोबल है वो कम नहीं करेंगे। और मैं आपको बताता हूँ
जी,
ये शहीद जवानों का बलिदान है, ये हम इसकी कीमत जानते हैं और इसको हम समझ गए हैं कि इसको कैसे रोका जाएगा, कैसे कम किया जाएगा
जी,
इस पे हमें बहुत काम करना पड़ेगा और मैं चैलेंज करता हूँ इसका हम सफल हो जाएंगे।
ओके, हंसराज अहीर जी, आप जा रहे हैं, जगह पर जा रहे हैं, कल आपने हमसे बात की, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, थैंक यू वेरी मच। Hansraj Ahir there, the minister in charge, saying that the government will ensure that they will not allow incidents like this to happen. They will extract a full price for what has been done to the CRPF jawan. But I want to raise such questions. Tweeting is one thing, but these are the hard questions that the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, Hansraj Ahir and others must answer today. Are CRPF jawans sitting ducks in Naxal-dominated areas? The Sukma gunfight, was there a total intelligence failure that the Naxals once again surrounded a police post in the manner they did? Were operating procedures flouted that led to high casualties? Are some of the questions. Dilip Trivedi, former DG of the CRPF, is joining me at the moment. Nandini Sundar, author of a book on Chhattisgarh and the manner in which Naxal violence takes place, the burning forest, joining me. I appreciate both of you joining me. I'm going to come to you, Dilip Trivedi, first. You heard the minister saying that we will ensure, we will extract a full price, we will not allow this to happen again. I've heard this in the past. Do you really believe that anything has changed on the ground in this battle against Naxals?
Well, Rajdeep, to begin with, I really think we need to salute these brave Jawans, and that clipping that you showed in the beginning of that injured Jawan saying that they had also managed to hit back at the Naxals in a very big way. It shows the kind of spirit that these boys possess, for which I think they really deserve to be saluted by the nation. But now coming back to this issue of that you have raised, of you see, whenever such an incident happens, the normal cry all over every time is lack of intelligence, standard operating procedures not followed and things like that. But you've got to understand the larger perspective in which this whole thing happens. The entire terrain is densely forested. It has got undulating terrain. There is no development in that area, and there is very little local policing. The Thana policing is absolutely missing in that area. So it is the CRPF which is in the forefront of all activities in that area, and which is creating which has to face the brunt of all such attacks. Now, when we say that every time there is a failure, there's something like this happens, all this is talked about. But the fact does remain that if you put the CRP in the most vulnerable of duties and in the most exposed circumstances, then this kind of things will keep happening. And if a mob of 300 people, and 300 of them means there must have been some villagers, women and children in front. This is their normal modus operandi, to put women and children in front and then start firing from behind. So the forces can't hit back at them straight away, because you'll be injuring the local population. So they coerce the local people, force them in front, and from behind they do this kind of an activity. And this is something which cannot really be sorted out so easily.
Sir,
as long as you're going to put CRPF on this duty.
Sir,
this attack and the previous one.
I appreciate the difficulties of the CRPF. It is not easy, difficult terrain. You're dealing with a situation where there are some villagers also who may turn hostile, which is why Nandini Sundar, in this war, does this have to now be seen in terms of a war against the Maoists? There is no other way in which one can respond to the challenge, that the security forces must be given a free hand, because in the past there's a sense that every time the government wants to give them a free hand, there are those who say, look, these are our people, they are our villagers, we cannot give them a free hand we cannot give the forces a free hand. Do you believe the time has come to give the forces a free hand, if I may use that word?
Well, Rajdeep, let me start by saying how sad I am at the death of these men. And it's sad that this has been happening for the last, 12 to 15 years, and the government just doesn't seem to have got it that this is not the way to conduct war against your own people. And I don't think that there's any such thing as a free hand. Look at what you're doing in Kashmir. The army has been given a free hand, but has it helped? Has it solved the Kashmir problem? You have less than 7% voting turnout now. For the last 12 years, they've been doing the same kind of counterinsurgency operations. Every time they claim that, they're going to be finished in a couple of years, and nothing has happened. It's the villagers who are suffering, the Maoists and the CRPF are fighting, and really, this is just going nowhere. And the demands of the people there are not very difficult. I mean, what are they asking for? They're asking for land, they're asking for right to have control over their own lives. This is something that could be settled by dialogue without expending the lives of the CRPF.
Who do you have a dialogue with?
So it's really shocking that this should keep happening.
Who do you have a dialogue with, given the fact that you are at war?
At least you have a dialogue with your own people in that same area. Well, exactly, have a dialogue. You haven't even had a dialogue with the villagers. On the 2nd of April, the security forces raped a minor girl exactly in that area. Then they took her into custody and made her retract her statement. Now, that's not the sort of thing that encourages confidence among the villagers. It's not the sort of thing that is indicative of any desire to have dialogue with your own people. So start by having a dialogue with the villagers as to what they want, how to solve this problem. There are lots of people who would come forward and help to solve this.
Can you separate the villagers from the Maoists, and would you agree, therefore, there has to be zero tolerance towards those who have decided, in a sense, to wage war against the state? So you need to separate the issue of villagers who may have turned against the state versus those who are at war with the state, i.e. the Maoists.
Well, if people are at war with the state has to address it and also ask why people are at war. If you can have dialogue with the Naga people, why can't you have dialogue with people who have turned to Maoism, who are expressing anger with the state through Maoism? These are not people who have some great desire to fight against the state. The villagers are there because they are stuck in this position. They have no alternative. You know, it's really, what are you talking about in terms of giving people a free hand? A free hand to have encounters, to rape women.
No, hold on. A free hand also to strike at Maoists. You know, I am again making the distinction.
CRPF deaths, and I think it's really condemnable to have these CRPF deaths.
No, that's why I'm trying to make the distinction between villagers and Maoists. Those who
then obviously the Maoists have villager support. Now, you have to ask why they have the support of villagers.
Let me take that to Mr. Trivedi.
Now, you tell me, why is it that they have the support of villagers? Why is it?
Mr. Trivedi, do you believe that there is a case for a carrot and stick policy? There is a case for reaching out to the villagers even as you strike at the Maoists with zero tolerance? As Nandini Sundar seems to suggest, make a distinction between villagers and the Maoists? Or do you believe incidents like this will only lead to greater vengeance that will lead to more killings? Because this has gone on now for well over a decade.
You see, the issue that is being raised is about by the other panelist is that it appears as she's trying to say as if the people have great sympathy for the Maoists. The local population doesn't have that kind of a sympathy, but they're dead scared of the Maoists. As a matter of fact, the Maoists commit more atrocities on the local population than anybody else. But somehow that whole thing is reflected around as if they have the popular support. And as far as the talk with the Maoist goes, the Maoist philosophy says that they want to seize they are not separatists like the Nagas, or they're not separatists like the Kashmiris, or they're not separatists like the erstwhile Khalistanis. They are saying no, that we will acquire political power through the barrel of the gun. That's their philosophy.
At the end of the day, we have lost 25 Jawans. And as the toll keeps climbing up, anger will mount in this country. People will want strong measures. The question is, how do you achieve your aim of taking on the Maoists without losing the sympathy of villagers? That's the key. How do you remove the fear factor that definitely is there on the ground? How do you deal with Maoists who have taken to the gun with the idea of overturning the state? That's the challenge that Mr. Modi and his government will face. Tweeting is not enough. You need a new concerted strategy to deal with the Maoists, Mr. Modi, is all I can say today. Nandini Sundar, Mr. Trivedi, thank you very much for joining us. We will continue with this story and continue tracking what's happening on the ground there in Chhattisgarh.